The screen door slammed shut behind her, the sharp clap of metal against wood punctuating the end of what should have been another perfect evening. The sound lingered in the air, a final, decisive note that unsettled me in a way I couldn't quite explain. Julie, my wife, had just kissed me on the porch before leaving, her lips brushing against mine with a practiced ease. The scent of her perfume, something floral, expensive, almost too elegant for our simple suburban life, clung to the night air long after she had driven away in her cherry-red convertible. It was a kiss like any other, and yet it wasn't. It wasn't cold, exactly, but it lacked something, a warmth, a depth, the unspoken connection that had been the foundation of our marriage for the last 10 years. Maybe I was reading too much into it. We were both exhausted. Work had been relentless, wearing us down in different ways. To quiet my thoughts, I turned to the garden. The rhythmic scrape of the hoe against the soil was oddly soothing, a familiar ritual that grounded me. This small patch of green, nestled between the creeping suburban sprawl, was our sanctuary, a living testament to the life we had built together. Or at least, that's what I had believed. The next morning, the sun cut through the blinds, harsh and unforgiving. As I stumbled into the kitchen, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee barely registered against the tight knot forming in my stomach. I was already late for work. Being a construction site superintendent didn't allow for slow mornings, but something made me pause as I stepped outside. Julie's car was still in the driveway. That was unusual. She was always out early, her commitment to her patients bordering on obsession. Then I saw it, a small, crumpled envelope tucked under her windshield wiper. My blood turned to ice. Even before I reached for it, I knew. Some instinct, some primal dread whispered the truth before my rational mind could process it. The envelope was cheap, a dull cream color, the kind used in places that didn't care about appearances. My hands trembled as I unfolded it, revealing a single motel key. Stamped on the back was a name I recognized instantly. The Crimson Rose. Not a place we had ever stayed. Not the kind of place anyone in a committed relationship had a reason to be. It was a run-down motel on the other side of town, infamous for its discretion. The kiss, the car, the envelope, the pieces clicked into place with a sickening precision. Julie wasn't just stressed. She was having an affair. The next few hours blurred together, numb disbelief giving way to frantic action. I called in sick with a half-hearted excuse, though I barely remembered doing it. My mind was already elsewhere, piecing together a plan. I scoured the internet, dug through records, made calls. It didn't take long to find what I was looking for. A room reservation. Under the name Edward Jameson. A name I didn't recognize, but one that was about to become very, very important. Images of Julie flashed through my mind, her laughter, the way she curled into me at night, the whispered confessions of love over the years. Every memory now tainted, corrupted, twisted into something ugly. I needed answers. I needed to know who this man was. The hospital was my first stop. A few careful inquiries, some well-placed conversations, and the name Edward Jameson surfaced again. He was a doctor, an oncologist, no less. Charming, ambitious, the kind of man who turned heads. Someone even mentioned his brand new sports car, a symbol of his growing success. My fury burned hotter. He had everything, a promising career, wealth, admiration. And now he had my wife. I found him on social media. His profile was carefully curated, a highlight reel of expensive dinners, tropical vacations, and a polished, confident smile that made my stomach churn. He looked like the kind of man who thought he was untouchable. He wasn't. I tracked him down to his home, a newly built, modern monstrosity that screamed wealth and arrogance. His sleek sports car gleamed in the driveway, a trophy for his accomplishments. I parked a few houses away, my heart hammering like a war drum. This wasn't about physical violence. Not entirely. It was about confronting him, making him understand the weight of what he had done. I found him inside, his smug confidence radiating from him like heat. He was on the phone, a small, knowing smirk on his lips. The moment he saw me, the color drained from his face. "You," he stammered, his voice a hushed, horrified whisper. His composure shattered in an instant. I didn't bother with words. My fist connected with his jaw, hard enough to send him staggering. I hit him again and again until that smug, polished image was replaced by something raw, broken, a whimpering mess on the floor. I didn't stop until the searing anger dulled, leaving only a hollow ache in its place. Then I turned and left. The consequences would catch up with him soon enough. The days that followed were chaos. I confronted Julie. There were tears, denials, pleas for forgiveness. None of it mattered. The betrayal was complete, absolute. The divorce was swift, brutal. Julie lost everything. Her job, her reputation, the life she thought she had. Edward lost just as much. His career crumbled, his name dragged to the mud. With a few well-placed whispers and connections, their affair became public knowledge. The media ate it up, turning their downfall into a cautionary tale. It wasn't about revenge, not in the petty, superficial sense. It was about justice, about making sure they felt the full weight of their choices. And for me, it was about rebuilding. The garden became my refuge once more, each tur of the soil a step toward healing. The plants, once symbols of our shared life, now stood as a testament to my resilience. Julie and Edward had been shattered, their world reduced to rubble. But I was still standing. The kiss on the porch remained a bitter scar, a reminder of everything I had lost. But even scars fade, and one day I knew I would heal.